In this video, you're gonna get to sit back and watch an interview with some gentlemen called the Treehouse boys. I got to sit down with them in a boardroom and talk about all things cannabis, how legalization looks like in Australia, what distribution looks like, and them having access to knowing what's happened in the world. So these guys have a really good insight and a crystal ball of where the industry was, is, and where it's going. Sit back, relax, and listen to Treehouse boys and learn a few things about what is going down truly in the cannabis industry in Australia. I hope you enjoy. Listen, we're day 3 of our Aussie tour, and we've been fortunate enough to hang out with the Treehouse boys. And these guys are pretty keen individuals who I've noticed have a ton of heart and really enjoy cannabis. 4 partners, and you guys are solely in the distribution component of cannabis, correct?
Correct.
Tell me about that.
So, on the distribution front, we thought, well, we all like cannabis. We're all massive fans, obviously, and so we didn't want to just be a brand. So we built a brand's house. The difference is the majority of the brands that we do own, they are ours. So it's not like someone's come to us and said, oh, hey, we have a product, can you distribute it for us? No. So we went through, curated from 70 plus products down into 4, launched our first line throughout a couple of the brands that we have in-house. And that is really what Treehouse is. It's a brand house that is in-house, if that makes sense, which means we can control every aspect.
What defines high quality cannabis?
Oh, a lot of things. I would start with the people growing it, then the facility, then the management allowing people to create the processes that allow you to produce high quality product or to a high quality standard. And then, you obviously look at genetics and chemical makeups and all those things. I'm not going to say quality cannabis is about THC because I'd be lying to you.
Yeah.
And I think that's where a lot of people have got this wrong.
Absolutely. It's no different than going to a liquor store and saying, hey, give me your highest grain alcohol. Yeah. I want to have a nice experience.
Right. So 90% is really good for you.
Yeah.
If you want to wash your inside.
Exactly. How does the current distribution model work in Australia for cannabis?
So for us, what we do is we obviously have partner farms overseas. So we have one in Montreal, one in Thailand that we work very close with. So the process is we all fly over there as a team. We do a sensory, we test all the products, we pick exactly what we would want to consume as obviously a patient. We then have that shipped from that facility to Australia, comes in via customs. So we ship, if it's coming in from Canada and lands here in Melbourne, clears Melbourne customs, and then straight to our manufacturing facility where it is packed and then cleared under GMP. That from there it goes into Lockie's hands, which is logistics and product movement, goes into a 3PL, and then from there we are pure B2B. So that will go directly out to our pharmacies across the country.
Amazing. John, what role do you play in Treehouse?
The janitor.
Yeah.
Look, I hold the title of CEO. I don't think that that's a necessary title for what we do. Myself and all of my partners are all equal shareholders. We look at our team as the same.
Yeah.
This business is obviously about providing a service that helps people. Me saying I'm a CEO helps fuck all of anyone.
It pumps your ego, that's what it is.
Yeah, I don't
At best. Yeah. I agree. So you mentioned distribution, but how exactly does that framework work?
It's quite an in-depth process. So, when you say distribution, you think just putting something somewhere and then it goes out. Well, in our case, it's not that case. So within the distribution process, obviously we have our import process, we then have our manufacturing processes, and then we have product to pharmacy process. But for us to be able to ship a product to a pharmacy, they need to be holding scripts, which a script obviously comes from your GP or an AP authorized prescriber. Now, that happens when you have an appointment. You've obviously seen a doctor for some kind of treatment to aid with some issue. Once you're approved by the TGA, you're then sent an e-script. Once the pharmacy has the e-script in their system, They can then order the product. For us, I'd say we're quite efficient. We can get product within hours to a pharmacy, or at worst case scenario, 24 hours. Leaving the patient with very minimal waiting time as best as we can. From that process, then the pharmacist will ring their patient. Patient can come in, scan their QR code, pick up, and then their medicine is dispensed from the safe, and away they go. Okay. And with that script, it then allows them to travel throughout the country on an aeroplane, cross into interstate borders, even fly to certain other countries with a certificate. So one of our team members was in Tahiti. He got a letter from his doctor, which then allowed him to travel to Tahiti with his medication.
Wow.
I'm not saying that everyone should just get on a plane and do that.
No, I recommend against it, normally.
Yeah, I would highly recommend against it, but you would always just consult with your GP first and see what their recommendations are about the country you're traveling to.
I mean, it was nice. For me, it was super easy. Just, talk to Benjamin, to Asper, picked up some cannabis as though, I'm buying a loaf of bread.
Yep.
It was a very seamless, easy transition. I think that's important to note, right? You don't want to make these things too difficult.
No, and look, while that's happening for you, then we're getting notified, okay, well, this pharmacy needs X amount of units, and then Lockie is there shipping stock directly. Okay. Or sometimes even Jake picks it up and delivers it.
Yeah.
Which is, this is how far we go to do our best, is not only does our team do everything from in an office, they will actually go out and hand deliver stock when it is needed.
Yeah.
So,
White glove service.
Yeah.
It's important. So Jake, you just alluded to vertical integration with regards to sales and distribution of cannabis in Australia.
Yeah, 100%. So as Matt was touching on too, one of the big things is advertising. And so the way that people work around that is, well, you own the clinic that then does the scripts for your brands. Now, if you think about that in medicine or in big pharma, that's completely illegal. But the practice happens commonly.
Absolutely.
And it's all about commercial incentives, and everybody in the supply chain wants to eat with not adding any value, and so that makes it really difficult. So you're up against big companies with a lot of money, so you're seeing the same price compression here. You're seeing backdoor deals, vertically integrated clinics that prescribe their own medicine, and so the industry is never easy, and every day is different challenges. But it's a fun little sandpit here in Australia.
I mean, when you don't put really good guides and regulations on in any industry, for example, in Canada, we've got a plethora of licensed producers, right? And they're still printing licenses, and no one can sell, their cannabis. There's just an oversupply because of it, right? Demand and supply. Is there anything like that being set up for Australia, like a marketing board? Hamish, maybe you can speak to that. Like a marketing board, if we were in an industry selling eggs or milk, there would be this is how much eggs and milk are being made, and it's going to be able to fill this need.
So when the industry kind of was set out by the government, they had Deloitte run this case study. They came out and they're like, there'll be 10 licenses in the whole country. Only a few people will go for them. Previously, I was doing licenses for groups. In the first year, my company did like 15 alone, and there were other companies doing it.
Of course.
Over the last 6 years, we would have done over cultivation, manufacturing, import, export, research, better part of 50, 60. And we're just one small business. How can, a case study say 10 and all of a sudden hundreds of applicants, right? What's the green rush? People see a new opportunity to make money. And now we're year 9, almost 10. There's 40 licenses for cultivation, but there's only probably maybe 10 or 12 actually producing anything in Oz. So you say, is there this kind of idea of how much is being produced? Yeah, there's an idea, but not everyone necessarily talks. And why we've imported for so long is we just couldn't find the quality that we needed here in Australia. It's getting much better. Like what you guys will start seeing is stuff that actually is getting to a point where you go, this is good, but now we've got a price problem, right? Where countries overseas, you could show me microgrows in Canada and say, this is $3. And what you see here for $3, it's not the same quality. But it is getting so much better. I think that's largely due to genetics and people actually being a little bit more open-minded to, professional growing techniques versus going, I know how to do this.
Yeah,
And then never done commercial.
I had one tent in my house.
Yeah, I've got 6 plants.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, well, do you have 1,000 now?
Yeah, it's there.
Yeah, in that one room,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
But you're right. Like, what industry is in its infancy? What industry is coming on that's new?
Yeah.
Right? Anywhere globally.
Anywhere.
Like, AI is changing things a lot, sure.
100%.
But cannabis is a new industry globally.
Yeah.
And it didn't happen overnight where Canada was growing good gear.
Yeah.
The first couple years of legalization, they were struggling, and the gear was horrible, and it was being irradiated, and all these things. And my understanding is, let's get into radiation.
Yeah.
Irradiation damages the quality of the flower.
Yeah, technically it definitely degrades it.
Yeah. And does all cannabis have to be irradiated in Australia?
Yeah, so we'll get Matt on the exact types of radiation, but with cannabis here, we have a very strict micro guideline, what it needs to meet. Obviously, not every farm is going to be able to produce clean product, consistently. But if you can meet micro levels, technically you don't need to irradiate. But most farms fail constantly. And it comes down to risk as well, right? A lot of these people, they're not prepared to buy 100 kilos, bottle everything up, and 6 months down the
Potentially
line,
a problem.
retest, and they're like, crap. I have to get rid of all this now. It's kind of like a risk
Risk versus
management,
reward.
literally, for a
Kind
lot
of,
of them.
yeah.
If you bring in a ton, why would you not do it? I get that. But if you're small and nimble and you can guarantee it's out, you can actually manage to do it. It's just, you got to follow the guidelines. You got to meet the levels of testing. And as Matt will go into in a sec, it's just, there's a very strict level. You can meet it though. And we've had products that have ended up out in the market. They technically haven't been irradiated, but they've passed all guidelines.
Yeah.
They've met every single standard that's been needed to.
Because the grower took every step possible using PPE and...
We had the tester say, I've never seen cannabis this clean in my entire life. And we were pretty happy with it.
And not irradiated.
Not irradiated.
Yeah. Because it was dried, cured properly, grown with good cultural practices, all the above.
Exactly.
These things don't happen overnight.
No.
And I don't think it would be fair to any Australian grower saying, hey, get your shit together. You're just fucking getting started.
Some of them are starting to get their shit
Right?
together, though. They really are.
Absolutely.
It's-
And they're going to.
On that point about on that point about Australian growers, I think yes and no on that, because Scotty has this analogy of, we are one of the most fortunate companies in the cannabis industry. We can time travel. I can go to Canada, I can go to America, I can see everything that's wrong. Europe, I can come back here and I can not make those mistakes. The problem is with most Australian farms is their heads so far up their own wazoo that they think everything that they've read in a document from another corporate company works. And it doesn't. This is an agricultural practice. These people don't come from farming. They're either from pharma or corporate law or something like that. Finance.
We saw that firsthand with legalization in Canada, and we were seeing police officers getting on boards. I mean,
We've seen that here.
and
30-year-old cop.
I put hundreds of people in jail away for this plant, and now I want a seat at the table.
So
How do you feel about that, by the way?
I don't feel about it because it's not what we would ever participate in. And I think that's what's so ingrained in us as a team, is that what we don't know, we'll go and find out, and what we've seen not to do, we will damn sure make sure we never do it. And so when it comes, for me and for all of these guys, to work with an Australian cultivator who thinks he knows better is really frustrating, because we have seen every mistake made, and I've worked in cultivation for over 15 years. You cannot show me something that I haven't seen. But when you go into these Australian facilities, they have a rule which is spreadsheet weed. And if it doesn't make sense on the spreadsheet, it doesn't make sense in the cultivation. Now, you show me any other agricultural business that works off numbers apart from their cash flow. It doesn't work.
With the spreadsheet, don't I?
Yeah. So just on that spreadsheet model, really what they're there to do is show numbers to impress investors. It's not about the quality of product coming
Yeah,
out.
I mean,
And when you mention,
it's the suits.
you could do this better, or there are other ways to increase more profit or better yields, or
dry in 4 days.
yeah, like some of these companies blast dry within 3 to 4 days, and then
Production cycle.
then they wonder why groups like Treehouse have this opinion that their product's not up to standard. Well, it's
subpar.
not. You know, it's like you going and buying fresh yellow bananas versus brown bananas. Why would you? If I handed you a brown banana that was 6 months old, would you eat it?
I mean, it depends how hungry I was.
You're a brave man.
Yeah.
But you know, that is where that is where the Australian cultivators have let themselves down, and that's why we haven't gone into we're licensed for cultivation, manufacturing, and processing. Why do that when I can go overseas, work with someone I actually like, and not have to argue about doing all the correct processes?
They've done the homework.
They have.
They've been. I mean, there is a distinct difference in gear from one cultivator to another.
Massive.
And my biggest thing is always with cultivators, they just need to let their ego get out of the way. A lot of the time, right? I grow the best weed. How many times have you heard that?
Every time. Every episode.
I mean, it just gets. This is the best. This is the
Every time.
Why can't we just say I'm really proud of this one and I'm really trying to build and the next one is, you know, I understand, right? It's always improving and sharpening your sword.
Or give the product to someone and be brave enough to ask them
What do you think?
what they think.
Yeah.
I've been to every farm in Australia,
Yeah.
and I can tell you, not once would someone be like, what do you think? It's the same story. Oh, I grow the best weed in Australia. Or we have the best team.
People need to get out of their own way.
And
I agree with you.
that's the biggest thing. I think Australians are very good at reinventing the wheel when the wheel was already invented. And that's where Australian cultivation has let themselves down. And there seems to be this issue of competition between importers and Australian cultivators.
This is becoming a global crop.
Yeah.
It is a global crop.
There is no borders. And as it's always concerning because all of a sudden one country legalizes and people jump on board, no different than Thailand. And Thailand by itself flooded the world.
Yeah.
Oh, we've seen that.
Germany,
Oakland is a state, flooded all of the U.S.
Yeah.
People can only consume so much cannabis.
Correct.
But people that cultivate really premium cannabis, there's a very small select few people
Right.
that really blow your mind when you open that jar,
Yeah.
right? And you guys are part of the culture. I know when you guys pick up a jar, I know you're able to identify that's good, that's bad. You know, looks, aesthetics. There's so many things that go into the cure, the terp profile,
Everything.
everything. And honestly, it's no different than someone in viticulture.
No.
Right? When they grow all the grapes, make that wine, there's a lot of pride associated with saying, here, look what I did. So I understand that I grow the best.
Yeah.
If you're growing the best, you're using the best equipment. You're using the best ingredients. You're using the best. It's no surprise that shitty, poorly built gardens don't produce ultra premium cannabis.
100%.
And look, I'm not saying that every Australian farmer is never going to succeed. I know they will, and we want to support Australian farmers more than probably the most of the brands.
Then you
Because
will.
Australian owned, Australian grown is super important for us. It's just finding the group that wants to work within the specs that we obviously demand. And it's not just us that demands that, it's for the patient. At the end of the day,
Absolutely.
the product is not for us as business owners to consume.
Everything
It's
we
about
do
delivery
in this space.
for quality of life.
It doesn't matter. They're all links in a chain all the way down. We manufacture nutrients. Those have to perform incredibly well so the consumer has a really positive experience. So they
100%.
can grow really positive, really high quality, right? That's always been the vision. So at the end of the day, just as you said, the consumer is getting the best cannabis possible. Job number one.
We do have a lot of companies in Australia too that are chasing that. You know, there's some companies we're really close to, and they're the exact same as us. They're like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
You know, people that have been overseas, they've traveled the world, and then like, why cannot some of these, they just don't hit the standards we want?
Yeah.
Some is slowly now starting to go into Oz product, but a lot have just been import purely because of the quality.
Yeah. Hamish, how exciting is it to be in a industry that you know, love,
Oh, it's amazing.
right?
For all the
and now you don't have to look over your shoulders.
Yeah, for all the pain you have to, I guess, go through, it's also like, you get to actually enjoy yourself. Mm-hmm. My wife's always like, why do you get to have so much fun? I'm like, because I love my industry and I love my job.
Because we better fucking have fun.
Yeah,
This, it's a very short ride.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
yeah.
you may as well do what you love.
Yeah. Big
I
time.
always come back to this. I say this in podcasts all the time. Imagine being that miserable cunt, having that job, making other people's lives more miserable.
Yeah.
Every day, like,
Yeah.
the meter maid, here's another parking ticket, fuck you, fuck you. What does that do to you over all those years? The cop that just wants to make other people's lives more miserable.
Yeah, well,
What does
one
that
of the
do to
trimmers
that guy?
yesterday,
Yeah.
she used to put chickens into cages. That's what her job was before she was a trimmer.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy crap, she must like this so much more. And it's like, oh, she's so happy here.
Right?
And it's like little things like that. It's
But
like,
it's genuinely a choice.
yeah,
To be happy and do positive
yeah.
things,
big time.
or be shitty.
be miserable.
And if you're not happy, go change it. And you guys
Yeah.
are molding. I mean, we were talking about this yesterday at the dinner. We bend the future how we
Yeah.
want to see it,
Yeah,
right?
big time.
Like, we're not following the trends. People that are in this industry are all trailblazers. They believe in something that's important. There is purpose.
Yeah.
And everybody I know that really loves cannabis, there's a major family story behind it.
Yeah.
There's a direct tie. There's a direct link in. I know someone who had cancer. It saved that person's existence. It made it easier for them to have chemotherapy. You know what? The list goes on,
Sure.
right?
Sure.
How's cannabis personally affected you?
As personally, I mean, I was in a pretty bad car crash growing up. I was playing basketball growing up. I kind of was hoping, there would be some sort of sport that I could keep playing. And yeah, just really bad car crash, destroyed my wrist, cracked my head open, ear was hanging off,
No shit.
cracked ribs, and my friend snapped both his bones in his arm. It was like a jigsaw puzzle. Pretty gnarly stuff.
Yeah.
That just kind of completely changed my path in life from that point on.
Yeah.
And then when I kind of got into cannabis, I just saw people being helped. People that were sick and not necessarily having a positive outlook in life. People that were dying. We saw some of our friends' moms consume THC oils and they couldn't even walk, and all of a sudden, they're driving a car and having an actual smile in their life for the last few months they lived.
Right.
So I think just seeing personal change in people that actually were struggling and physically not well, it's like, how can you not want someone to do or feel better than they are, right? And
It's lifted
Scott
up.
always talks about this as well.
Well, let's talk to Scott.
Yeah. Spadina.
Yeah, and shotgun at the head for 5 minutes, boot on the back of the neck, saying someone's going to die today.
Yeah.
Robbery going down. Like, this is me.
What
I'm
the
done.
fuck?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. And so yeah, I thought, this is it. This is me. And then my mum starts calling me on my phone, and this guy's got the shotgun to the head. I'm like, he's going to just blow off. He was very edgy. So they left for the money. I sort of like, did that just go down?
This was in a bank.
This is
No,
it was
dispensary.
Dispensary.
yeah.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden, you sort of, what do we do from here? Like, how do we sort of get over this? Sort of every noise, like a car door sounding, I'd be jumpy.
PTSD.
Got quite depressed and insular. And then I sort of started doing a bit of research, and a lot of Vietnam veterans were sort of using it for PTSD. So I said, okay, let's try this. So tried the CBD during the day, bit of THC at night, and then from there, the PTSD started to fade the memory of it, and I was starting to sleep better and come out of my shell a bit more and get back to sort of normal life. So I thought, well, if they can do that for me, what about all these other people? And I think where no one in cannabis talks about is, I call it the side effect of cannabis. Everyone talks about the negative side effects, but you look at the positive side effects of what happens if that epileptic child who's 3 years of age is having 100 seizures a day, has some CBD, and then no more seizures. Mum and dad can sleep for the first time. They can hear their kids say, I love you.
Oh, listen, the positive side effects, that's why we do Growing Exposed.
That's it.
Like, it's a plethora of life-changing positive side effects. And when you see it change your life, as you did, you're like, why isn't this available to more people?
Yeah.
And it becomes more about helping others. Like, listen, all growers I know, they end up owning a house. They end up owning a business. They end up going and becoming farmers themselves, growing food, and it evolves to, I've got a bunch of solar panels, and I'm growing a whole bunch of dreadlocks and growing my own food.
Yeah.
Right? It's funny how this industry, it's all encompassing, and food production globally is the next
Yeah.
major thing, right? Like,
Absolutely.
But seeing you be able to firsthand recognize that this helped you, and then saying, how can I take this and help others?
Yeah.
That's what we need more of.
Absolutely. And then from there, we've got this babysitter of mine who comes in, helps out, and I found that older women aren't sleeping as well for a few reasons. And so I said, "How are you sleeping?" She's like, "Oh, I get 3 hours a night." So, oh shit, that's tough. 3 hours. She's like, I've learned how to cope with that over 20 years. So I said, "Oh,
really?"
Yeah. And so I said, "Oh, do you know there's gummies out there that help women sleep?" She's like, "Oh, really?" I said, "Yeah, they've got CBD, which is great, and a bit of CBN. So it's not the super psychoactive THC." She tries them. Next day comes back, and she looks different. So, oh, Jesus, what happened, Julie? She said, "I had 2 days worth of sleep last night." I said, "Fuck, what?" She goes, "Slept for 6 hours and stopped my husband from snoring." I said, "What, you flicked your husband a gummy?" She said, No. For the first time in 20 years, I slept so deep I didn't hear him snore. I didn't go to the spare room and wake up in a separate bed." I said, wow. So sleep, at the absolute core of it, is the biggest side effect. And everyone's life, with their family, their relationships, are less grumpy. You help someone sleep better, I think there's the ultimate gift.
You helped me last night sleep better. Yeah, you helped me last night sleep. I slept like a baby. Yeah.
His wife woke up next to him. So, oh shit, she's still here.
Yeah.
I think where it's heading is probably a super interesting sort of visibility. Like, you're very lucky in our eyes. You've come from the future. We think Australia is in the past. And so we can go to the future, see what's working there, what's really popular, come back, make those chess moves in Australia. And so, okay, we know the I call them version 2 sort of prescribing formats or methods. I think gummies is, like, for a lot of women, they don't like the stigma of the smoke or people knowing that they're smoking. So just to have something quite stealth under the radar, quite enjoyable as well. Certainly not like having like grass underneath your tongue or ripping a bong on a train. It's pretty under the radar. And so I think those sort of the vapes, the gummies, and I think the concentrates is probably the cleanest, purest form of the plant medicine. And so there's obviously a lot of education that's got to go down to educate doctors that this, like the vaporization of concentrates, is probably going to give the highest therapeutic effect, the least amount of sort of dosage. Cost-wise, it's quite effective as well. So I think those products are where it's leading to, and I think we need to be in or around that to be part of the future.
I totally agree. And it's having the crystal ball to be like, what has happened and how do we evolve to make better decisions than what's happened.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact is you guys are on the right road, and that's fantastic.
What is interesting, where you've come from the future where it is recreational or legalized, and you said you don't want to be at that point. Can you elaborate as to why we don't want to go past where we are?
I mean, rec legal means that, and I can say for Canada, they specifically are printing more licenses, allowing more production, not worried about demand and supply. They're the ones that tax it, they distribute it. There's so much competition with supplying so many licenses that how do you differentiate yourself because once again, in Canada, we can't market. They, as a cultivator, can't market their brand. So they have to work solely off of relationships or I'll give you the best price or whatever it is. You have to really find interesting niches to be successful in the Canadian market. But there is a lot of gardens that are just struggling because they can't sell their gear because either it didn't meet the 21%, or there was a potential pathogen, or something happened, or there's so many variables that as a cultivator, there's no such thing as guaranteed money. Like, you can do everything right and fuck it up the last week. Yeah. Right? And coming from Canada going, I think the medical system is a better system. I like the idea of accessing cannabis and having those questions. I think that's really important, and saying, hey, did this work for you? And having some check-ins. I do it for friends of mine if they're sick or dealing with ailments, can't sleep. I'll call them the next day. How was that experience? Yeah. I gave them some. I want to make sure. And I think that's, health care, right? You're supposed to be caring for people. Yeah. So I give away cannabis like it's going on a style at home. And if someone's got cancer or they're dealing with any issues, I'm calling them up and saying, how was that? How was that experience? Do we need? I'm not a doctor, but I know what it's done for me, and I know that low and slow, as Jake said yesterday, or fast and hard, depends if depends.
Mark.
Yeah, depends your name.
But Justin, I think to summarize your point when you ask that question, if you want to be really direct to him, is like it ended up being a race to the bottom. And it might have
Yeah.
been, like all on young industries.
Yeah.
The only thing I was gonna say is if they go wreck, if you look at honey, if you look at wine, I've seen lots of documentaries. They have a 6 to 7 year window of like where it's a race to the
Saturation.
bottom.
Yeah.
And that's what's
I
happening.
mean,
So that's
I'll say that.
But that's what you were worried. That's
Yeah,
what you were
yeah.
worried about. And right now, nobody's
Nobody's making money.
making money, and it's sad to see.
The taxes are so high. Nobody's making money. There's so much oversupply. In any new industry, anyone sees potential of profits, they just run in. And we saw at the beginning of legalization, millions upon millions upon millions of dollars being thrown at public companies. And 100 years, they had billions of grams extra in their vaults at the beginning. That all supposedly got disposed of. It all got incinerated, one joint at a time, pretty sure.
Or
But
sent here.
or sent here.
Yeah, and being
Yeah.
sold as a premium product
Yeah, but
at ridiculous price points.
Yeah. So there is no perfect answer. With any new industry, there's a jump in. Everybody wants to make money, and there's a small window where you do, and then an oversupply. And now we're finally seeing 6-7 years later, it's starting to recover, but it's been a bloodbath.
Yeah. So over like lack of hurdles to get into the industry and that greed for quick money, and then all of a sudden more cannabis than people,
Yeah.
and the only way to win is a price war.
Exactly, and we've seen it time and time again. It's not new. It happened in Oregon. It happened in Oklahoma. The regulators need to look at this and go, hey, maybe we should ask some questions and say, to people that are in the industry, what should be done? Because California, same thing. It's overtaxed, and it's not fair when an individual says, "I want to invest my life savings into this new up and coming industry," and there's no outs. There's no silver bullet. There's no, they just have to eat shit, and someone's going to pick up that building you spent tens of millions of dollars on, and they're going to pick it up for $1 million, 500 grand, and they'll take that dream of yours and run with it because it was a failed business model.
Yeah, no, I think that's one good thing about the TGA at the moment is that they're opening up this consultation period where you've got the members of the industry are allowed to have a voice in it. You've got
and that's happening.
Yeah, that's happening now. It's
amazing.
Just closed this week, so they'll have a review. They'll come out with what they've learned, maybe some options, and then we'll have another consultation period after that. But members of industry, doctors, patients, and pharmacists, everybody's getting a say here. So I think in that way, it's a really good use of the TGA's resources to say, well, maybe we're not all 100% happy with the industry as it is.
And TGA stands for what?
The Therapeutic Goods Administration.
Okay.
It's like your FDA.
Yes.
Okay.
Or Health Canada.
Okay.
Yes. They're the federal body, and they want to be inclusive. They want to make sure that if a change is made or when changes are made, that everybody has had a say. Everybody gets to.
That makes sense.
To be included.
That seems like a democracy.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, and it's one of the reasons why I think the Australian system moving forward can possibly avoid going the route of, say, where Canada has gone and where some states in the US have gone, and where industry can basically collapse in on itself because it becomes too easy to enter the market, but not easy to sell. So it's a very, I think it's a very good way for them to assess everybody's opinion and then from there make an informed decision.
So it's cultivated anywhere in the world, brought in by you guys, and then regulatory has to work directly hand in hand as much as possible, so the right hand's communicating with the left hand.
Yes.
After all that's done, logistics. How does that work?
So it's kind of indirect or direct, right? So we kind of service the customer, which is the pharmacy ourselves, for a small team, which kind of is a bit of a touch point for us. So Jake will go and be friendly with the pharmacist, drop off the goods, talk to them about the product and everything. Or otherwise there's distributors, which is kind of like a big Amazon warehouse, so to speak. So they've got all the products, all the brands in one house. The pharmacy will be able to make one order with them, get a whole bunch of products in one order rather than going out to each brand individually. So it's kind of the two different channels.
And what's the biggest hurdle for logistics?
I guess with cannabis, people find like they want it like today or something.
I need it now.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you just had your consult yesterday, right? And then it's like maybe people for the first time they maybe used to going and buying it in a car park or something, and it's a bit of an instant transaction. So now there's a few more hoops that you got to jump through. So I think for the first time, just like managing the expectations of this might not be a this afternoon thing, but if you're able to wait like 3 days, you're gonna get it legally. So just like I think people need to slow down a little bit.
Yeah, I always, when it comes to haters of this plant, I'm always like, well, be careful what you say, because one day you or your family member are going to need it, right? And I find that so many people come to this plant indirectly, not wanting to, and being like, holy shit, I've been shit talking this plant because that's what I was told it was bad for me, or I was told it kills brain cells because of some poorly orchestrated marketing in the the 50s, the 40s, whatever. To me, fascinating when someone who has hated on it for a very long time comes to it, and then they're in need of it, and they ask questions, and I'm like, okay, let's talk about it. And to access medical cannabis, I think globally is a very important thing. And we're, how many countries? Not many, right? The mass populations of the world are not even tuned into this plant whatsoever. So I think there's a lot of runway. And I like your business model. I like the idea of cherry picking an industry and saying, I want that, deciding, expecting higher quality. And that's, one of the things, I'm involved in a cannabis brand in Canada, and we cherry picked the industry for veterans. That was the nature of what we wanted to do. We wanted to give veterans the best experience possible. You're cherry picking the industry, and as a cultivator, it's an interesting angle because I understand this. You don't have to sell your crop. If you're a cultivator, you have to sell it even if you fucked it up. You have to, because you have to stay in business. And you might sell it cheaper, you might do this, but in your circumstance, being a distribution house, you get to say no. You get to go, I know what high quality cannabis looks like. This wasn't as good as the last crop. This is exactly where we need to be. We'll pay because I want to make sure you as a cultivator are in business.
Correct.
Next crop. Jake, go ahead.
And that's another thing. Here in Australia, when you're bringing a product, SKU, cultivar, whatever to market, you have to ensure that you're going to have consistent repeat supply, because to get the patient onto this product, you have to get them that script, and then they can fill that script consistently. So you have to have a good relationship with that farm or whatever the supply may be, and it has to be the same flower, the same standard every single time. That cannot change.
Or you say no.
Or you lose the business, you lose the script, or you lose your reputation. So it's up to you. But yeah,
I'd say our longest running strain is 2 years now. Stuff that came in with it got dropped. We just constantly take what's good and get rid of everything else.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you could get something else, but it'll be a very inexpensive smalls. That's a different segment in the market, right?
It's just not worth it.
But if you're going for premium and you want to be recognized as premium, stay in your lane, find the best there is, and it's a neat thing, right? I got my script filled in Australia, being Canadian, and I'm buying Canadian weed.
Yeah.
Right?
How funny is that?
How funny is that, right? Literally coming from my country, I'm smoking Canadian weed in Australia.
Yeah.
What a trip.
Times have changed massively.
Yeah, they have, haven't they?
Yeah.
Right? So I can take this script and go to anywhere in this country, and I'm legal.
Yeah.
That's something really exciting, right?
Yeah,
That's really, I don't have to look over my shoulders. I don't have to, and the older people that are finding that this helps with ailments, movement, arthritis, all these things, it's got such an awesome upside.
Yeah.
And my only thing is, if you're proud of it and it's helping you, fucking tell a friend.
Yeah.
Tell a friend.
Yeah.
Change the story, because the story is the thing that we've all bought into. We all know the story, Little Red Riding Hood, right? You could say it. You could probably say it to a T. It's one of the reasons why I look at Growing Exposed as a really cool channel, because we're telling the stories of the growers. We're telling the stories, and stories are the thing that people remember, right? I'll read something, I don't remember shit. But if it helped you as a end user, make sure you change your story. Make sure you don't go, oh, bunch of dirty potheads, right?
I mean, that's why we're all here.
Yeah.
I think you're 100% right. We destigmatizing, exposure, education, and also putting other people on the platform when they do well as well. Objectively, other brands and people and products, we're quite quick now to tell people, I think you do an awesome job.
Yeah.
Push for the rest of us, because at the end of the day, we're all going to benefit.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We're a smaller minority of the population
Truly,
that really know something that the mass populations don't know yet.
Yeah.
When they come to it and it helps them, fucking A. Because it's not so easy out there, right? Some people deal with PTSD. People deal with this ailment, that ailment. Getting through life, there's lots of bumps and bruises.
Yeah.
And this can be a really helpful tool. Not for everyone, definitely not for, a developing brain, not ripe for abuse. Some people can abuse it, but I don't recommend abuse. I like the idea of tolerance breaks. I like the idea of getting the maximum effect.
Yeah, I think for us, well, for everyone at this table, especially for the Treehouse team, like the three of us on this side and Scotty over there, like the reason we're all friends is purely because of our experiences with the plant together, our passion for it, and then obviously building a team that has similar thought process or outlooks on what cannabis does. I mean, I know the three of us on this side of the table have, it is our life. Whereas I think a lot of companies can't say that because it's a cash commodity for them. And, the three of us have obviously quite a colourful past with this plant, and I think we're very proud of that.
There's nothing to be ashamed of.
No, there's not. Look, when you're nursing someone who's dying and you're using something and you see those benefits and quality of life there, not a lot of people get to experience what that's like. And, the strange thing about our company is you could say, oh, they're all potheads. Where that is not something that we consider. We're active human beings. We love the outdoors. We love doing things that help people, and we love putting something out in the market that we're genuinely proud of. Now, how can you give someone who's sick, dying, or being treated of an illness that will probably take their life? It changes a lot of things. Like, and you touched on this earlier, is quality of life is such a big thing that when you're dying, you're actually going to miss out on so many things. So you're going through chemo and it helps you eat. That is a huge thing. If you're struggling with appetite or insomnia or a lot of these things, like people just think, oh, cannabis is for people that roll it up or put it in a bong, and it's not. And I didn't start smoking until I was involved with it very, very young, but I didn't start smoking until I was in my 20s.
Me too. And I didn't try it until I was in 2022.
Yeah, I mean, I had it around while I was young.
Me too.
But
I was very involved with the plant before that.
Yeah, and I think for me that's where it started. I got in trouble for it when I was in junior school, and my mum was like, "Oh, this is going to be an interesting journey."
Yeah.
And
who would have thought, right?
Yeah.
Thanks, Mom.
Come 27 years. Where now I've worked at multiple companies, I've worked at listed companies, and now we have Treehouse. And I think our experience is come from our passion. And
that plant brought you all together. That plant brought me here to be with you.
Exactly right. It takes us to things like Cannabis,
it's
MJ.
awesome.
We get to
this
hang out
plant
with cool
brings people together.
Yeah.
Right?
And, I think it's just to go back on a little bit of backstory about Treehouse and how we actually entered the market. We were all sitting around, like I've known Jake and Haim for a very long time, and that's how I met Scotty. Matt and Lockie were with me at another company. And so we all kind of got together and were like, well, we want to do something different. The tough thing for me was my mum was dying of cancer at the time. And the week that we launched our first products was the week my mum passed away. And so like this was something that was like she was a massive cannabis supporter. And so like for us to do stuff like that, not just for her or for me, but to be able to do that for others, that is why we're here.
It's paying respect here.
We could go and work another job, get great salaries somewhere else and still smoke weed. But something deeper down makes us go through the trenches and grind through this crazy process to get a product to market because we give a shit. And I think like that is the emphasis around Treehouse is it's not just about showing up to work because you got a job. It's show up with a passion for what you do. And, you know, I think you've probably seen a little bit of that just being around us for the last couple of days is that we're not stoners.
No.
We're fucking fanatics. We live and breathe it generally. I mean, the three of us have travelled
I get it.
To a lot of places just to smoke different weed and meet different people.
Sure.
And
I don't understand eating Doritos sitting in front of a computer on a video screen, getting high. I don't understand it. I mean,
Connect, talk, experience.
yeah, go
right?
skiing.
Get me in
snowboarding.
nature.
Yeah.
Exactly right.
Right? I don't understand. That's not who I am either.
No.
I mean, I've always found cannabis makes you a bigger whatever you were.
Yeah.
Right? If you're super fucking lazy, and I don't like that stigma.
No.
If you're super lazy and all you do is play video games all day,
It'll make you better at doing that.
it'll make you really better at doing that. But it'll make you a whole lot better going in nature
Yeah, for sure.
and going for a walk with your friends and having an amazing dinner and coming together as unifying human beings. So that's what we are.
Yeah.
Our purpose is to help others. It should be.
I
It
mean,
shouldn't be all about, and I mean, it's the billionaire syndrome that's going on in the world right now, right? Like, I want all of it for me.
Yeah.
Which is not, I don't understand that lifestyle. I don't understand that.
What you just said there is the analogy. It's like 90% of these companies think they own 100% of the market, and you're a threat with your 1%.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Like, how is that affecting anything? Because no one owns 100% of anything in this world. So then the way people look at competition is it's such a bottom level. Competition is on the bottom floor and collaboration is at the top.
Yeah.
And I think that's where a lot of cannabis people outside the corporate lifestyle, we want to collaborate because we know we can make a difference.
Yeah.
And you've said this, everyone talks about it. Most people in the space who have a genuine passion for it, they've been through some trial and tribulation, whether it be jail, death experiences with friends, family members, or even just their own personal journey. Like, you notice that the people who are about that and they've experienced that, they have a genuine commitment to doing something of quality.
Yeah.
Because you can't turn around and say, oh, hey, here's a bag of swag, and he's like, yeah, you're a good friend of mine.
Yeah.
Like, the fuck?
Yeah.
So you're not going to do that to a sick person.
No, absolutely not.
And, you know,
I think you hit on it a little bit. The amount of people that compete in this space, if they just focused on lifting each other up, working, collaborating, doing things together, we can do a whole lot more. And honestly, this space globally has so much runway.
Oh.
Right? If we all get along and have a really good time making a business together and becoming successful and all those things, why wouldn't we want to lift up everybody else? Like the model of pushing down and saying, fuck that, that's a shit product, you don't want that, fuck that guy, you know? It's pushing people down. Makes no sense.
Yeah.
Where we can lift everybody up in the industry. We can lift everybody up. Rising tides raise all ships.
Yeah.
It's a really simple analogy, and you know, we've done it in Green Planet specifically, in P&W. Employees, friends. I get to work with tons of people that I'm very, very tight with, close with for decades.
Yeah.
You know, the guy filming grade 6.
Yeah.
You know, I have partners that were employees that needed an opportunity. Let's fucking lift everybody up.
Yeah.
Because your success
It can be someone else's the next
will
day.
indirectly be my
Exactly.
success.
Exactly right.
Like if you have a good experience using one of our products, or someone has a good experience consuming one of your brands in Australia,
They'll tell people.
right? They'll tell people that, like, and indirectly you win because they had a better experience.
Yeah.
It was a fair price for a fair product. You know, you gave something that they had never experienced before. They loved it, and win, 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 win. Yeah. You can multiply these wins.
I mean, I think like for me, my journey didn't start off with in this lifetime. It didn't start off with flower. So like I had a friend of mine. I was 17. He was 19, and we used to smoke a bit of weed together. But he literally, I'd come back from Europe of like 6 months backpacking straight out of school, and he's like, I've got pancreas cancer. Do you know anything about Rick Simpson oil?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, not really. I know what hash is. I know what, you know, cannabis is, obviously. And I was sitting there, I'm like, shit, the dude I work with, the guy I surf skate with, he's been given 3 months. And so, like, that was where it really, for me, kicked off. I was like, shit, I want to help my friend. I want to see him do well. And that was where I saw my first experience with what cannabis can do as a whole, you know. And so he was given 3 months. He passed away within 5.5 months. But what helped was the cannabis oil.
Sure.
And then
it probably doubled.
It gave him a little bit longer. And I think when I witnessed that, and I think when anyone witnesses those kind of things and you see the good, why wouldn't you stand up and support that movement and then help others in the process? And I think that's where us as humans cut ourselves so short, is that we think about tomorrow, not the next 10, 20, 30 years. And that's where greed comes from, is tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know, you look at anyone who wants money now, they tend to have no ethics about acquiring it. Long-term business is about putting something to market that gives someone a reason to always come back. And within our case, it just comes down to giving people the ability to either help themselves or find peace of mind that they're actually getting a treatment.
Yeah.
And I mean, this is what I think a lot of people have missed, is they haven't had those life-changing experiences. So it just goes on a spreadsheet.
Yeah.
And that's the business model.
And that's a miss.
It doesn't work in this space.
No.
It works in banking, it works in a lot of other businesses, but
Well,
cannabis is the one thing that it has no guarantee on anything. Whether you're a grower, whether you're a manufacturer, whether you're a distributor, you're still dealing with Mother Nature, even if it's grown indoors. So it's a living plant.
Where do you see the industry in 5 years? 10 years, 20
Look,
years?
In Australia or globally?
Globally.
Well, it's in disrepair right now.
Sure.
And I think that there's a good reason for that. But with disrepair and obviously hitting rock bottom, the only way we can go is up. So over the next 5 to 10 years, I think we'll see a lot of change globally. I hope that has an effect on all the countries that have a huge stigma around the negativity. You know, countries like Bali. You can go to, Indonesia.
Sure.
You can go to some of these countries and get whatever you want from a pharmacy, like a Xanax. But you're going to get hung out to dry for a gram of cannabis.
Oh, my friend's brother's case, a roach at the bottom of a cigarette pack, 2 years in jail. When he was 18.
In Indonesia?
In Jakarta, yeah.
Jakarta, wow.
Yeah, that's why I grew up.
And those aren't nice jails.
No, there was a stream that started at one end and ended at the other, and he had to get water out of it and pee in it as well. So you don't know how many cells that's going through. It's like...
Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately, the governments that have doubled down on it's bad.
Yeah.
Right? Where a country like Thailand right next door just says, hey, we're gonna look at this as a medical thing. They unfortunately opened the doors and blew the doors right off.
Yeah, a little bit too relaxed.
Little too relaxed. But hey, that's no different because there's opportunity.
And we can all learn from that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that's what we've done. Like we watch Thailand come online and we're like, well, let's wait. And the blessing that we have is Jake is actually Thai. I'm not joking.
Yeah.
And so, you know, we had a man on the ground who could literally get us into facilities, speak the language, find the things that necessarily a white guy, even though he is, he just had an open slather of communication. And I think that was such a blessing that, again, we've all come from such unique places, we can lean on those experiences. And so when the Thai opportunity came up, Haim and Jake and another partner, they were over there and they literally were like, John, this is where it's coming from next. And
There's a price.
yeah.
It's cheap.
It exploded initially when we went and did the Growing Exposed in Thailand. During that week and a half, the price had already come down $300 a pound. Like it literally, I was like, every day, $50, $50. Like, people were like, we were getting, $2,500 a pound initially. And it was down to pennies.
Yeah.
I mean, and an inexpensive pound being grown outdoors on 12 hours with very little inputs, all of a sudden it's profitable because the Thai people are not being paid a lot of money to trim.
Nope.
The whole thing, even at a $300-400 pound, they're finding ways to squeeze out profit.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing now. That's what we're struggling to do, is compete with the companies that think, all right, if they buy stuff at 20 to 70 cents a gram, in their head they're putting out the same quality product as we are, and we pay $4 US a gram.
Yeah, not possible.
I would almost say in this country, Treehouse pays the most for our product.
And I think that's to be proud of.
It is.
I do, because you're paying the farmers for what it's worth.
It's a blessing and a curse. For us, the biggest blessing is that we are proud of what we put out.
Yeah.
The curse is 50% of the Australian market don't give a shit.
But they will.
80%.
Yeah. Honestly, that's the shocker.
ones
I agree with you 100%. I cannot believe how many people go into dispensaries and buy the cheapest ounce. They want the cheapest ounce no matter what.
Yeah.
I'm like, but
They're not looking at imports. They're not looking at ethics. Like, a lot of cheap weed is not grown ethically, and I don't mean just the inputs in cultivation.
You're talking
payment, labor. A lot of these things are overlooked because, oh no, we're just getting it at a good price. Now, that's, for us, is probably one of our only hurdles. Is we stand by what we buy, and Scotty and I and Haim are always talking about how we always buy the most expensive weed in the market. But what it has allowed us to do is give people guarantee.
That's
so
important.
When someone does buy our product, they don't necessarily go to another brand. And that's something
you retain that customer.
Retention for us is
huge.
What keeps a small company like this going, is that we've given the people exactly what they want and some. We've gone above and beyond. And look,
and that comes at a cost.
Massive cost. Look,
that comes at a cost.
We run very lean so we can provide those services. Haim and I pay ourselves fuck all to make sure that others or product gets out there, and that we stand by what we do for other people. And if one day we can benefit from it and have a better life from it, well, great. If not, well, shit, we'll keep doing the same thing because
we're making a positive impact.
That's what we do.
That's the whole goal of the company.
Him and I, well, any of us, we don't want to stand around and look in a jar and be depressed.
No, listen, I think it's a great business model. How does it affect the black market with medical now? Obviously, the black market still exists.
It hasn't one bit.
No?
No.
So
I would say...
2 different lanes, not a big deal.
2 different lanes. Black market is 10 times bigger.
Yeah.
So I'll paint a scenario for you. In this last financial year, Australia has imported and locally cultivated in the medical space 120 tonnes. That would not touch the sidewalls on black market because the patient population is less than 3%.
Currently. That will change very quickly after people get to hear this video.
Close to 28 million people population Australia-wide. We would probably see less than 2.5 million people holding a reproducing script.
Oh, wow.
And there is a reason, because Lockie touched on it, is they can go down to Old Mate down the road and get it like that.
Yeah.
But they're not getting security. But why would they take a phone call with a doctor, then wait 3 days, go to a pharmacy?
I did it.
So, and
I
it's
like
an
the
easy
idea.
process.
I love the idea of being legal.
It is an easy process, but we can't speak on that to a customer. I can't walk into a pharmacy and see someone picking up cannabis and be like, well, here's a few extra steps that might help you along your journey, because that's seen as me encouraging someone to purchase one of our brands. That's where the black market is so far ahead of us, is they have all of that down pat. And then our government's put these little roadblocks in place, which actually allows the black market to flourish more.
Yes.
There is more Thai weed in Australia black market than there probably is medical.
Yeah.
And that's something no one's touched on at all in this space, is these people think that, oh, I'm bringing in 120 tonnes. You're servicing nowhere near half the population. And it's the statistics that they've put out is 5 out of 10 people smoke weed on a recreational basis every day.
Well, I want to hang out with 5 of those 10.
You already are. So, you know, when you look at those, we're actually not stopping the war on drugs. We're incentivizing them, because our process to market is so much slower than Joe down the road who can get a pack in on a plane.
Sure, but I know that the black market, when done properly, there's and same goes for Canada. And the cultivators in Canada have really stepped up.
Yeah.
But it's taken years, and it's going to happen here where the cultivators are going to step up to the same standard. But the standard cultivator in the gray market does a really good job.
Well, yeah, touching on that here as well, I think in Australia, because of a few things, the barriers to entry for business, and then also fit and proper persons. To engage in the space, you have to pass a fit and proper persons test, which is basic police check.
Yeah.
Somebody who's a legacy grower who's worked in the space 20, 30, 40 years.
They usually don't want to do that.
They also don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So and then also, you talk to them about the price per gram that they're going to get wholesale. That's a very scary number.
Not super appealing.
No, that's a very scary number, especially when you can consider the price on the black market right now for things. So there's a few factors there that really hinder the Australian market a little bit.
Yeah, but I've always been, you know, some people in the legal market are always like, oh, fuck the black market. I've always viewed gray, black, legal. We're all on the right side of the fence.
You are so right, and I've got in trouble for this, working in multiple companies, for saying it. There's no difference.
Yeah.
If you think that there's a different plant that's rec or medical, show me. I'd love to see it. It's just how it's perceived, or how the methodology of how it gets to market. And I think that's where in this country a lot of people have a problem with it, is they think all of black market is organised crime. I don't think organised crime cares so much about cannabis, because
it's not profitable enough.
No.
Number one.
And people aren't doing things to chase it on a daily basis like other substances.
That was one of the, when it came to legalization, John Conroy, Kirk Tousaw, 2 very prominent lawyers in Canada, they tried to take the ability away from medical growers in Canada, and they went on mold, fire, and bacteria, and gangsterism as the reasons why the medical licenses should be pulled away. And they couldn't prove on any account that molds and bacteria or plants in a house cause problems to a house. Quite frankly, they proved the opposite, that house plants clean the air.
Yeah. Right.
They weren't able to prove gangsterism, because 98.99% of people in this industry are ma and pa's, just trying to make a better life for themselves.
Yeah.
And those people transition into the legal market whenever they can. They don't want to be on the fringe, right? They don't want to be part of that fringe, and they want to be part of. And we're seeing that with legalization, when people are like, oh, I can actually step into a legal thing and do this because I'm passionate about growing this plant, and I'm passionate about helping others.
I mean, it's funny. Like we are obviously social people, so we go to events, and you know, someone will say, oh, but it's too hard to access medically. And we'll like straight away look at each other and think, well, you've just gone through the experience, so you know how
Took
simple the
nothing.
process is.
An hour of my life, tops.
Right.
And that's because I got into a good conversation with them.
And
To be honest with you, I was surprised it lasted so long. I was nervous.
and for you to spend that hour and now be completely legal in another country that's not your own.
How awesome is that?
See, but a lot of Aussies don't get to see that because it's blocked from them.
They should be proud of it. If you have a problem, go get a script.
Right.
Talk to a doctor. Get legal. You don't need to break the law.
No. And too, like, we do have a problem with addiction in this country. Like, we are known as some of the largest consumers of amphetamines per capita in the world.
You guys are rippers, for sure.
Yeah, our alcohol count.
You guys know how to party. That's all I gotta say. Just as my experience in Australia, you guys know how to. It's a cultural thing.
Yeah.
It is, and that's what's held us back a little bit. Not Treehouse, but us as a community, is the addiction and the obviously aggressive uptake side. Is people look at how much cocaine this country consumes. No one talks about that.
Yeah.
But they'll sure as hell go and blow cannabis out and throw it under the bus.
Listen, I'm happy to talk about the pink elephant in the room. I've always found that Australians really think cocaine is more of a status thing, and it's not that bad.
Yeah.
But back home, you talk about cocaine, it's like, fuck are you doing? Like,
You mentioned cannabis in this country. People will walk away from it.
It's the polar opposite. Yeah. Like, how many people's lives have been damaged by coke laced with fentanyl or methamphetamine? These things are all really bad things. I'm not on some show saying, do drugs.
Yeah.
No.
You know?
No, and look,
This plant specifically helps people.
It does, and I think in the right environment with the right education, people can figure that out. And you touched on something about someone needs to experience something to appreciate cannabis. I had a conversation with my father 10 years ago, and he said for this country to get up off its ass and actually do something, a politician's daughter or
Has to get
son has to suffer, or their significant other. Otherwise, they'll never ever understand it.
I totally agree with you, and it always happens, and people end up coming to this plant and going, oh my God, boy, I was wrong.
Yeah. Thing is that
Who wants to live with that regret?
Yeah.
Who wants to live with that regret of or I was a greedy cunt because I was
Few of those
involved in a
around.
different industry that suppressed a natural potential healing plant,
Yeah.
right? I mean, pharma, they're not helping this industry anymore.
Well, I mean-
Alcohol, views it as competition. Cigarettes, not so good for you.
We should be going from farmer to farming, and I think that's
Yeah,
where
I
cannabis
agree with you.
needs to get their act together and look at that. Because
People, listen, and this takes business right out of your mouth. People should grow their own plants
Yeah.
because it's therapeutic,
yeah,
because it's fun, because there's a pride, because if you grow your own plants, you're gonna grow the best weed for you.
which I mean, like speaking as a company owner, you'd think that we'd be scared of that notion.
Of course you wouldn't be, because you care about the plant and you care about people.
What it does is it actually opens up access. So
Sure.
not everyone wants to grow. Not everyone has a vegetable garden. Not everyone has the time. So
Correct.
all it does for us is it opens up people's mind to, oh, my neighbour grows a bit of weed. I can't be bothered, but maybe I get a script, right?
Yeah.
There's a conversation that starts with allowing people to grow cannabis. And we have that in a state, in our capital state of ACT, Canberra, you can have 2 plants per household per person. Technically, that's 4 plants. 150 grams legal in your house, and then I think you can travel with up to 50 grams on your perso without being
reasonable.
prosecuted.
Seems reasonable.
That is our capital of this country. It is the only state where you can do that. And that's where Parliament House is.
Yeah.
That's where all our politicians are. You can do that there. But you go to the money state, say Sydney,
Yeah.
mate, if you have one Japanese ornamental tomato growing in your garden, your neighbour's ringing the cops. So that's how weird and twisted our environment is here for it. And I think you can't have one state that lets you grow for personal use and then 7 other states say, well, no, you can't. And I think a lot of companies in our space are so terribly scared of that because they think Joe Blow down the road growing his 3 plants.
It's
for
going
a
to take
sick
away
kid
profit in
is
my monster legal corporation.
It's not.
No.
Let's just
Not
be
a
honest,
hope in
it's not.
hell.
No.
It's not going to hurt you. It's not going to hurt a dollar. And all it does is just, once again, raise everybody up in the space. Because growing cannabis is addictive.
Yeah. And look, it's like veggie
It's
farming.
fun.
You still, no matter how many vegetables you can grow, you still have to go to the supermarket
Absolutely.
at some point.
And,
So
and you're going to share it with your friends, and it's all really positive stuff.
yeah.
And when you're concerned about someone growing 4 plants, everybody, I don't like to have the same, equate cannabis to alcohol, but it shocks me how many people drink shitty beer, cheap shitty beer, but it's because people can't afford it, right? But sure as shit, you can afford to put a couple plants outdoors, right? It
That's
doesn't cost
free.
a lot, right? And then there's the carbon footprint associated with it, right? Because globally is consuming a ton of carbon to make pounds of weed. Under lights, under loads, CO2, all the manufacturing. This plant eventually should be legalized. Everybody should grow it, and it should be grown outdoors.
Yeah.
I think we should look at the hemp
Sure.
plant for those, companies will go and buy carbon offset, which means they're purchasing tickets to have forestry put in place. Then they sell the forestry off to a logging company. So then you then have a process that destroys the environment that those carbon credits are placed on.
Yeah.
With hemp, you have a crop that is rotational, and it's technically a cover crop. So it harvests CO2, it then produces more nitrogen, phosphate, all of these things that
Builds
then
the soil.
come back into the soil, and then you can reuse that to grow, some sort of commodity crop, sugar, grain, corn, whatever that may be. But yet we, in this country, we go and put money into carbon credits, i.e. forestry that is still controlled by the government.
It's safe to say, I think our governments as a whole aren't there like the baby boomers wish they would be.
I think when you get uneducated people running a country who, one, don't know business from their left elbow, and then think they have a strategy that is about profit, you're going to go wrong very quick. And in this country especially, we haven't had a prime minister who's been a business person and a leader in one. And the person that really drove cannabis was of that nature. And we haven't had that kind of person in Parliament for 7+ years.
Yeah, I've said it time and time again. If a government's directly involved in hurting their citizens by selling them cigarettes, alcohol, endorsing gambling, allowing you to just give away your whole house to a government, these guys are complicit in hurting their citizens.
Well,
That's not okay.
they put such an excise tax on tobacco that now the black market is 10 times bigger than the legal market.
Yeah.
So we're doing really good things when it comes to regulations on so many aspects.
I mean, you've made it impossible for people not to. You've forced the price to be so high. It's $50 a pack of cigarettes.
50, 100.
For a pack of cigarettes?
For a pouch of 50 grams of tobacco.
You're right, yeah.
Yeah. $99.
It just keeps
It's,
going up.
and in theory, some analyst said we'll just raise the price so no one will buy them.
That's
They
what they think.
still buy it.
That's people are going to buy them, and all you've done is just fucking open the door to a black market saying we want Chinese cigarettes for a fraction of the cost.
You see what's happening in
Exactly
But I
right.
can tell you that's what's happening.
Have you seen the fire bombings?
No.
They go in, and so they go into tobacconists and they go, buy our illegal tobacco, otherwise we'll shut you down. And then they get firebombed
Okay.
all over this state at the moment.
So they're being forced to on top of it.
Yeah.
Now you're-
Otherwise, work without gang. Otherwise, you're fucked, basically. Yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah. Last year, it's been
Yeah.
going crazy. It's
But I think
wild.
governments should stay the fuck out of hurting their citizens.
Big time.
Tobacco kills more people than all drugs combined.
Sure.
That's a
100%.
really horrible stat. Why are you selling just one pack,
Yeah.
right? Why are you profiting from people being hurt? Why are you, same thing at home. I don't understand why human beings don't stand up and go, what the fuck? Why did we allow this government to make money off of shit that hurts people?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden this plant comes around? Talk about the hypocrisy. It's not for everyone.
No.
And it can cause problems, and that's one thing I got into with Ben. It can push people that are prone to being schizophrenic. This isn't the magic bullet, but for so many people, it fits the bill. It gets them off of pain medications, Tylenol, Advil. These are all chemicals.
Yeah.
They all have adverse effects.
It's the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
It might not be the be all, end all, or fix everything, but it is. Cannabis is the light at the end of the tunnel for a lot of people.
Absolutely. And individual cannabinoids is what's next.
Yes, 100%.
Like isolates.
Cannabis is not just THC at all,
Sure.
and I think like we are a big group on that. There's so
Yeah.
many other nuances that are
You
from
can-
this
you can,
plant.
You can get exactly like one cannabinoid
Yep.
to help your personal endocannabinoid system not be high, and all of a sudden your life is better.
Yep.
It's that simple.
Precision medicine.
Yeah, so I think it's super important, and I know that we're on the right side of the fence on this. We have a room full of people, and the idea is to go out to the world and infect the world in a real positive way. And I think Treehouse is being a really great ambassador. That's the fucking word.
We can cut. Just go.
Yeah.
Just start
Listen,
with
I think it's safe to say, you know, the point of why we're all here is to align and go out into the world and do great things and tell people about the stories about cannabis. And Treehouse has been a great ambassador in that. And I've got to see that with all of you in the last 2 days. And I think there's a ton of runway for all of us. I know that it's not easy currently with all the logistics and there's so much red tape, but I really truly believe it's going to get a lot easier over the next couple of years as governments take their heads out of their asses. So great work, Treehouse.
Much appreciated.
Yeah,
Keep spreading the good word.
we won't stop.